There are a lot of roles in the IT industry nowadays, and there is a little awareness about these emerging roles in the market. So, I have started this podcast series as an attempt to fill that void and to spread awareness about these roles. Hello, everyone. My name is Piyush Sachdeva, and welcome back to another podcast. Today, we have Rishab Kumar with us, who made a tremendous contributions toward the DevOps and cloud community and currently working as a developer evangelist with Twilio. So, if you have heard this role for the first time or want to know more about the role, then please watch the video till the end as we are going to have some interesting conversations about the roadmap, learning path, challenges, and day to day job responsibilities, and many other relevant topics. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you so much, Rishab, for joining us today and giving us time. I'm pretty sure this is going to be an interesting session, and we'll talk a lot about your roadmap, your path to be a developer evangelist. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I was really looking forward for this session.
Awesome. Thank you, Piyush. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I look forward to the conversation.
Amazing. So, Rishabh, why don't we start with a brief introduction of yours in your own words?
Sure. So, hi, you can see my name. It's Rishab. I've been in cloud for almost 4 years now, with 2023 starting. And I've held different roles. Also have worked as a TSS at Google for a little short while, and then now finally I'm a developer evangelist who works at Twilio. And yeah, I think that's a good short description.
No, that's a pretty amazing description.
Wise.
And yes, I remember the time when you were working, like we were part of the same onboarding batch. So yes, I do remember. That's why I reached out to you, because you were a fellow colleague, and you have been doing this amazing job with the community contribution and everything that you are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's quite an introduction. So like, what according to you is a developer evangelist, or a Dev-Rel role, or a developer advocate role? Like, are they same, or like how would you define these roles?
Yeah, so I think, so I won't say like the responsibilities of you as a developer advocate or evangelist within different companies, they could differ. So not every company, like Dev-Rel is not same at every company, is what I'm trying to say. And hence you see these little variation in the titles, but in the end, I think they all try to like solve the same problem, and we are all here to like make sure the developers who are using our products, they have all the resources necessary. It could be documentation, it could be videos, it could be blogs, ideas on how you can use, for let's say Twilio's case, how you can use Twilio APIs, right? And how it can solve challenges that some of them might be facing. So in the end, I think you maintain a relation, right, with the developer community by providing them value, and that's why it's called developer relations. Yeah, I think that describes it pretty good. You could see developer advocates or developer evangelists speaking at events, at conferences. You might see them at local meetups, and often on YouTube, right? So
yeah, that's amazing. That's good to know. Can you give us a roadmap for this role? Like, how should one prepare for it? What are the tools and technologies they should learn, and all the relevant things?
To be honest, I think the first thing you might need is being passionate. So it could be anything. So let's say you're passionate about cloud, right? You're passionate about, let's say, GCP. So good fit for you would be, working at Google as a developer evangelist or developer relations person at Google, because it can become hard to advocate for a product that you haven't used yourself. I don't say that it's impossible, but I think you need that sense of like a passion for any of the technology that you might be advocating for, or at least have some expertise, right? And I think that's the first place to start, is find out what you love doing. So it could be you love coding in Python, and you're really you might have, a lot of open source contributions in Python, and that's something that you really like. You could be, a Python developer evangelist at any of the big tech companies. They have language specific developer relation people. The next thing I would say is be part of a community. Be out there. Make sure you have just the work that you put in, either it's on GitHub or you're writing technical blogs, or if you're creating videos, make sure it's being watched and being accepted.
It's
in
adding
the
some
community.
value to, like,
Exactly.
there is some value to it.
And I think that's how it kind of worked for me. Like, I don't have a really solid, I've not cracked it down like a really solid roadmap to get into developer evangelism, because some people say that you need a social following, which I don't think is true. Like, I've seen people that are really active in community with minimal like Twitter followers or Instagram, and they're doing fine. They're in developer evangelism. So
So to, like, if I have to conclude, so it's like you find your passion, you find the area of your interest, following that passion, and then you should have a contribution mindset. You are ready to share your knowledge and experience with the community. You should be adding values to whatever you are doing. Okay, so
Definitely.
that's pretty amazing. How, like, let's talk about yourself. Like, how did you end up in this role? Like, what motivated you, and how did you prepare for it? Basically, your journey to this role.
Sure. So, as you were saying, you saw some of my contributions to whether it be YouTube or technical blogs, and the stuff that I've been doing in the open source, specifically in cloud. I think those things like added up, and I was like, okay, like I was TSS at Google at that time, and also prior to that I was a DevOps engineer for a year. And so that was my full-time like 9 to 5 thing, right? And then later in the day I would work on all these contributions. I would work on my YouTube channel. I would teach stuff, and I'm like, so that would take my entire day, right? I'm like, and I tried this for like 2 years. I think I have been doing this for 2 years. And then I was like, what if I make this my, job? And I reached out to a few community folks, members of the community that I knew were working as developer advocates or evangelists. And it sounded like a really good role. And then, Twilio had an opening. I applied to 2 other companies, but in the end, Twilio worked out, and that's why you see me here.
No, things worked out good for you, and I'm happy for that. So so you followed your passion, and you started it with a side gig, and started with the community contribution. Then once you developed your interest enough, you thought, why don't we give it a try and make it our primary 9 to 5 job? And
Definitely.
That's what I guess everyone is looking in their job, like something that they would love, something that they would love doing throughout the day, not just as a passion, or not just as a side gig. Okay, so that's that's amazing. And what do you think are the, like, you have already shared like what have worked well for you? So what else other than this you think would be like top skills required for this role, or like any role similar to this?
I think communication, empathy, and I think those 2 are really important. We work, and it's not just for developer like evangelism. I think if you have these 2 skills, your career can go like really high.
Be it any role, any skill, anywhere in any company. So these are
so like communication, you need to be able to explain technical topics in a manner that is understandable by developers at each level, and also someone who is not a developer might have some interest and look at the piece of content that you might have produced. So being able to communicate that, I think, is really a key. And then being empathetic with, like, because we are humans, we are social animals, and we are all in this together, and like nobody likes to work with someone who is rude, right?
True.
And that's why I think these two skills are really important.
So would it be fair to say, if I say, like, if I'm explaining Kubernetes to a 10-year-old, would that be something that lies what you have already discussed? Like, you should be able to explain something to the way they understand.
Yeah, definitely. You need to know your audience. Like I've done few, they're called master classes in Twilio.
Mhm.
At that, like we know the intended audience is
Yeah.
gonna be developers who have worked with somewhat Twilio products, and that's why our webinars or whatever we want to
Mhm.
call it are more advanced. Whereas
Yeah.
when I go to a conference, I try to keep it more generalist approach,
Mhm.
right? So that
Mhm.
we take it from zero and like kind
Yeah.
of build it up
Mhm.
as we move through the demo. So yeah,
Okay.
know your audience and then be able to like communicate whatever your goal was or whatever you were trying to do.
I have also got to know that you worked as a professor in St. Lawrence College. So how did that come up for you? And like, what was your experience with that?
I would say the experience. It was. I'm glad I tried it.
Mhm.
It is also something that I won't be doing anytime soon again. At
Okay.
least that I like. At least for this year,
Mhm.
because it just takes too much time
Yeah.
away from the other things that I want to prioritize. But yeah, the experience was really good. A backstory is that I graduated from the same college, and it's
Mhm.
been 4 years, or it'll be 5 years now. I
Okay.
graduated back in 2018,
Mhm.
and since then, I think I've been doing fine in my career.
Mhm.
Someone reached out from the faculty who were
Okay.
still in contact, right? If I would be interested in a contract, like part-time contract to teach cloud, and I'm like, yeah, like why not? I do this in my own leisure time through my YouTube. Like it would be nice to gain experience of teaching in a like a
Yeah.
professional manner, right?
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, the experience was good. It is really more structured than teaching on YouTube, because you have curriculum. You need to make sure the faculty has given you a green check before you
Okay.
start teaching, right?
Mhm.
The syllabus is decided beforehand, and then you just progress through like 6 months.
Mhm.
There are assignments, there are projects, there are exams.
Yeah.
So yeah, really more structured. But the experience was really good. I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that. I know that I received a lot of like comments and feedback saying like, how can you teach? You don't even have a computer science degree and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
I have some expertise in a given domain, and I guess they wanted me to come and take a part-time contract,
I
and it
guess
worked
we
out.
are living in an era where we have to think beyond a computer science degree or any degree, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact.
I think it's
So if
changing now.
someone is skilled, if someone is experienced, if someone has passion to learn and teach, I guess that should be more
Hmm.
than enough reasons to do what you've already been doing. And I
Definitely.
see, like, you had a lot in your plate. You have a lot in your plate right now. So, but I'm glad that you at least give it a try, and you did that for quite a while before you decided that, yes, like, I'm getting stressed out and I'm getting burned out. But
Definitely.
yeah, but you wouldn't have known that unless you have tried it,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like, it's good. Yeah. And like, as you are working as a developer evangelist, so what are your day-to-day roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, so a typical day in my life would
Mm-hmm.
look like that I'm either working on a video,
Mm-hmm.
and that usually goes either I do a live stream or it goes on my YouTube. I'm working with Twilio's API or I'm coming up with a project idea that I can
Mm-hmm.
showcase. If I'm not doing that, it's gonna be I'm working on a blog or documentation or
Okay.
doing reviews for other blogs that are being shipped. So
Mm-hmm.
we make sure that they're like a tech review thing where we try it on different systems and make sure the instructions that we have in the blogs are working right on every system. And yeah, so that is the, like, you could say, the content side of it, right? Planning, video or text, and then other times I'm traveling, so you could see me at, different conferences, in states or in Canada, at different hackathons, or student led meetups.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my kind of the day. And since I'm like the only one in the Canada region, like the only developer evangelist, so a lot of the time also goes into researching events and researching like the next great thing that might be happening in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where my most of the
Yeah,
time
so
goes.
it is fair to say that you are following your passion, and you are, you love what you are doing. So that's what everyone is looking for out there.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay. Uh how about you tell me a bit about learning in public and your community contributions and how it helped you as a professional.
For sure, for sure. I think it is the it can be challenging for someone if they're trying to start to learn in public,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really like I consider, even though it might not sound true because I'm sitting in front of a camera and talking to
Mm-hmm.
you, right? I consider myself an introvert because I don't easily open, and like I'm not the one who would initiate a talk or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
changing. I'm working on it, right? Um, but it was really hard for me to start, and that's why I think I started writing blogs initially. Like for the first year, if I consider my learning in public, it was all like written based content. So you could see me tweeting saying, hey, today I learned about serverless functions, and this is what I build. And then every day I would post something, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be, you can choose your like platform, so it could be LinkedIn, it could be Twitter, it could be even GitHub. Like nowadays I spend more time on GitHub documenting stuff, and that's how it started. So and then Hashnode, I saw Hashnode, like it takes away of you creating your own
Mm-hmm.
blog platform.
Yeah.
You can use theirs and have your own domain. So I started a blog, started writing about my learnings, things I was facing, challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I ran into an issue when I was deploying something with Terraform, and for a year I did that. uh, got like really good support from the community. I know Twitter at that time was not, like, it was a really good platform then. People would reach out if I was facing something, or if I needed to sit on a call and understand
Mm-hmm.
something. So that is the beauty of it. um, and I made a lot of connections that, I guess, if I have to say that, I think I can go on and say that I think the GCP, like the Google role, was because of my
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
public contributions and like being active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Even like the Twilio role is definitely my YouTube and my blog.
Mm-hmm.
So I think learning in public can like do wonders if you're trying to either break into tech or are trying to like go into the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Because it also showcases like how you are understanding all these different tech
Yeah.
concepts, right? So yeah, I think that's how like it started. The second question that you had about the tips is, yeah, just sit down and start writing. Like, I get it, videos can be hard, and I know, Piyush, you having a YouTube channel, like there is definitely like a good chunk of time that goes
Yeah.
into researching and
Mm-hmm.
inviting guests and like making these conversations. And if that's something that you find challenging, I would say start with written content. Like,
Mm-hmm.
go on GitHub, start documenting what you're learning today. Be consistent with it. Same thing goes for LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
or Twitter,
Yeah.
and you'll find your way around it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's an amazing advice. So like, as you said, you were an introvert, you were not really open to start the conversation by yourself, and you are working on it. So it's really important that we also face our fears. We should do something that would take one step closer to the
mhm.
next step. And this is what I also try to do, the same way like you mentioned. for a year, like I started this channel around like 1.5 years back, and for almost an year I was running it as a faceless channel. I
Nice.
didn't had the courage to face the camera, right? But then I slowly started doing it, and now I wanted to take it next step further. So that's why I thought, why don't I start engaging with the community members like yourself, and have a nice conversation face to face, like, I mean, not exactly face to face, but like virtually.
Yeah,
But even then, like, it was a big step for me, and I guess, like, we wouldn't know unless we try it out. So yeah,
definitely.
um, that's something that everyone should be trying. I'm not saying everyone should start a YouTube channel. Like, do whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you are passionate about. It just just keep doing it, and just be comfortable with it.
Yeah, yeah. No, uh, yeah, I want to reiterate on that. Like, I don't want to come out and say like, go start a YouTube channel
Yeah, yeah.
tomorrow. Like, do what you find is, better suited for you and you feel
Mm.
comfortable in. The only thing we are trying to say is, if you network and if you work within a community, you just the odds of um, if you want to call it success, sure. The odds are just greater because you're making those connections. You're learning with others, right? And in the end, like, this is how it happens at bigger organizations: is you're part of a team. Like, there is no, like, a single person team. There is a 10 person or 8 people team, and you all work together towards a given goal or a given product. And I think that just, like, learning in public taught me way more things than
Yeah.
just sitting in my cubicle and
Mm.
just
Yeah.
going through different
That's
courses
true.
and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Because with that, like, you have someone giving you the feedback, helping you out
Hmm.
wherever you are stuck, and motivating you, appreciating you whenever you do a good work. So that's something that we don't find generally working in front of our computer if we were doing it alone.
Hmm.
So yeah, it had helped me a lot as well. Like, I would give a lot of credit to my community contribution. That's the reason why I am in Google.
Yeah.
Because of that, like as you said, like same thing happened with me as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, it really opens a lot of doors for the new opportunities. And if you are planning to climb up in your corporate ladder, so yeah, I mean, everyone should try it. And
Definitely.
like, who knows, like, this is what you have been dreaming of, like this could be your passion. Like,
Hmm.
if we talk about like 5 years back or 10 years back, there was no such role.
No.
And right, so people were doing it, but they were not getting anything out of it.
Yep.
Now you can follow your passion, and you can earn a good money out of it as well, doing what
Definitely.
you do, like 9 to 5.
Hmm.
So, Rishabh, what advice would you give to college students who would like to follow a similar path? I guess you have already covered this partially, like start blogging, start writing things that you, and try to learn in public. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you would like to add?
um I would say, be part of a community. Like, I think it's easier. I won't say easier. Comparatively to when you are a professional, I think it's easier to be part of communities when you're in a college. Like,
Mm-hmm.
be part of, I don't know if you have, like, tech specific clubs,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or whatever you're passionate about. Like, it could be,
Mm.
chess clubs. I think,
Yeah.
like, being in a community helps you build these social skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like communication, empathy, and just the things that I've talked about. As you
Yeah.
said, I've partially covered it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think when you're in college, yeah, just be part of a community, build something cool with
Mm-hmm.
whoever else is part of that. And then you can just showcase when
Yeah.
it's time to, interview and
Mm-hmm.
trying to land, let's say, a developer advocate role. You could say, I was part of this community. I held these many talks here. This is our, maybe you have recorded those talks over webinars. Like, usually I've seen colleges doing that. So you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of showcase that you already have experience in managing a community and doing technical talks over video and in person. Maybe you also have contributed to other projects or open source projects on GitHub. So yeah, just trying to build. The one suggestion I would give college students is try doing the stuff that you would do in the role that you're trying to land. That's what I did. That's how it worked out for me. Is okay, I want to be a developer evangelist. I started doing developer evangelism even before I realized I was doing it, but like start doing it before and then just go in the interview and tell them like, see, I'm already doing all these things. So I think I'm suitable for this job.
That's really a good advice. Yeah, I would definitely agree with this point. Yeah. So whatever you are planning to do, whatever you think is suitable for you, just try to implement that already before you get into that role or that job. So that really help you getting your job or getting the role that you want. And okay, I only have this last question. How do someone get his or her first remote job? Like any personal project that you would suggest, or like what are the top rated websites to apply these jobs?
Yeah, so my idea of getting a remote job, like it was not my goal, right? For the previous company to Google that I worked for, it's so much happened to be just COVID, right? We were in person. I worked there, I think, almost 2.5 years in person, and then COVID happened. We went remote. And after that, we just saw that everybody could work remote. So we were like, okay, we are a remote first company now. And then Google, I think the initial 2 months were remote, but then they announced return to office. So I was in the office.
No, it's still remote.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For us, it was like you have to return to the office at least, I think 3 days, 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah, it was the plan. Like that was the initial plan, but then they eventually they moved to hybrid. So you go to office whenever you feel like. It's like that.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't stuck enough. But yeah. And then the Twilio, majority of my team is in the States, and we are also remote first company. So yeah, me being in Canada, I could do it remotely. And I don't have a suggestion because that like it was not in my mind that I need a remote job, right? I was fine with going into the office, but the site that I would suggest is the only one that I have looked at is remoteok.com.
Okay.
And another one is, I think it's called WeWork Remotely.
Upwork. Okay. WeWork. Okay.
Yeah. So these are for like actual job roles. So you can apply to jobs that are either worldwide remote or they specify the country that they can operate in. So because I've seen some jobs that are remote, but you need to be, in the States. Some jobs that are remote, but you need to be in UK or something. So you just look out for those. These two sites, I think, to my knowledge, are the only ones that I look at.
No, that would be a good start. If someone is looking for it, like 2 sites should be more than enough to start exploring this this area and try to get their first job. I hope this session was valuable enough that everyone could learn something out of it and try to implement the things that Rishab shared with us, the amazing experience and the amazing learning path that he took. If you have any questions for Rishab or for me, just drop in a comment and let us know what you think about. And if you have any suggestion, then feel free to add that comment as well, and we will be happy to have a look. And thank you very much, Rishab. It was an amazing session with you, and I hope we will be collaborating a lot in the future. And I hope to see you soon.
No, thank you, Piyush, for having me, and yeah, I look forward to future collaborations.